Why did our French forefathers from Geversfest send their children to den Germania, now called Germany?
Why did our French forefathers from Gervres send their children to then Germania, now called Germany?
Gracious and loving God, we gather here today to celebrate our common bond and descendants of the Gevers family. As we do so, we remember all those men and women who have gone before us, leaving us the treasured memories of their lives. We recall how blessed we are to be a part of this journey of life. At the last Geversfest in 2014, I shared with you the detailed research conducted by Bernhard Gevers from Coburg in Germany to trace the Gevers family roots and origins. To recap briefly, he discovered that contrary to what we believed, we are not in fact of German origin, but rather French. Bernhard showed us some pictures of the castle, but unfortunately I have not been able to find any pictures of the castle on the internet. Our forefathers were summoned to Paris by Queen Medici to attend a wedding celebration, an invitation which no nobility could decline. Needless to say, the massacre of the Bartholomew wedding that took place in Paris in 1572 is recorded in history, and our forefathers were murdered, along with hundreds, if not thousands, as reported in accounts of the time. To travel from Givry, modern-day Gervres, to Paris in 1572, the journey would likely involve a combination of walking and riding, possibly supplemented by a horse-drawn carriage. During this time, travel was slow and dependent on the quality of the roads and the distance between towns. Givry to Paris is around 320 kilometers. In the 16th century, a person on horseback, the most common mode of transport for those who could afford it, could cover about 40 to 50 kilometers per day on a decent road. This means it would take approximately 7 to 10 days for the journey. Carriages were reserved for wealthier travelers, but slower due to poor road conditions. Most people walked, covering much shorter distances per day in the range of 20 to 30 kilometers. Bear in mind also that roads were rudimentary and weather-dependent, with inns providing lodging, food, and fresh horses for travelers along the way. Travel during this period involved risks like highway robbers and natural dangers, so travelers often moved in groups for protection. In 1572, traveling from Givry, France, a small town in Burgundy, to Germania, a term used to refer to the Holy Roman Empire or Germanic lands, would have been a lengthy and challenging journey given the modes of travel already expounded. Now let us look at travel from Givry to Germania. The road network of the 16th century Europe was basic, often built on Roman roads, and travelers relied on well-known routes. On this route, however, there would have been an additional option, namely rivers such as the Rhine, the Danube, or the Saône would have been used for parts of the journey, as river transport was often faster and safer than traveling over land. The road network of the 16th century Europe was basic, often built on Roman roads, and travelers relied on well-known routes. From Givry to the Rhine River, you would first travel northeast, likely passing through important cities like Dijon or Besancon to reach the Rhine River. This journey would likely take several days on horseback or by carriage. Once at the Rhine, river crossings were available via ferries or bridges in towns like Strasbourg or Cologne, if heading further into Germany. You might also travel part of the way along the river by boat. After crossing the Rhine, you would travel through the Holy Roman Empire, which spanned much of modern Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Cities like Mainz, Frankfurt, or Nuremberg would be key waypoints along the route. The journey from Givry to Germania could take several weeks or even months, depending on the destination within the Holy Roman Empire, weather, road conditions, and the traveller's wealth and resources. Travelers would stop at inns or monasteries along the major roads. These places offered food, shelter, and a chance to rest horses or wagons. Roads would often become impassable in bad weather, particularly during winter or heavy rains. Travelers crossing into different regions or cities often had to pay tolls at bridges, gates, or checkpoints, which added to the cost and complexity of the journey. Overall, traveling from Givry to Germania in 1572 would have been an arduous journey, requiring careful planning, resources, and time. Regrettably, I have been unable to determine the exact location of our forefathers' castle or chateau, despite having, in addition, searched in the suburbs of Paris, which Bernhard had told us was where it was located. I have this vivid recollection of the picture that Bernhard showed us, with a castle with round domed roofs on the banks of a moat, but have not come across any pictures that remotely resemble those I remember seeing in Bernhard's collection. As mentioned last time, Bernhard had shared with us that because of language barriers, he had engaged the services of a French history professor at a Paris university at substantial cost, so I cannot doubt the authenticity of his research. Nowadays, we have so much information available to us on the internet, but are often challenged with the question, is it true or false information? I have little doubt, given the time and money that Bernhard invested in this project, that a great deal of this information is true, but given the severe challenges they faced in 1572, it makes for a real great fairy tale. Edeline and I spent many hours sitting in Bernhard's lounge, sipping from his collection of exotic wines till early hours of the morning. He just never seemed to tire from his exciting travels and research, which sadly today, in all probability, died with him. I will upload today's video to YouTube, making it available for public access, so you can share it with your family and friends, should you wish to do so. If you are interested in the topic of the Bartholomew Day Massacre, just go to YouTube and research for this title. You will find a host of information, some running to more than an hour in length. I will now share with you in the background one of those videos which runs for about 12 minutes to give you an idea what is available. You will find a link to this video in the description below.